You know, I come from a working class family. My mother and father weren't well educated. Um, I was second generation, I guess, Italian American. And there was no tradition of reading in the house, no books. Of course, I read in school, et cetera, read books in school and that sort of thing. But it was more of a visual tradition, and more if I was taken to movie theaters a lot. Also, being a sickly child with very severe asthma, I couldn't play sports. So again, the movie theater and the church and the movie theater. And so, along with the films, there was also the advent of television, 1948, 49, and the heyday of really some of the best programming in American television, in the history of American television up to this point, with the 50s, 1950s. And so I saw a lot of television shows, but also films on television. Being working class family too, they didn't have enough money to go to the theater, so theater wasn't an option. Live stage shows. So it was mainly visual literacy. What was happening at that time to me. I did not understand that was happening. What it made me realize was that there was an intelligence, another kind of intelligence, that was trying to tell a story through where the director, the writer, and the cinematographer, where they were focusing your eyes. You know, whether it was the camera may be on an extremely low angle, looking up at you. The use of the lens, the size of the lens. I began to understand certain lenses interpreted the story differently. A longer lens crushed everything together and made it flat. A wider lens stretched everything and sometimes distorted it, especially if camera movement. I learned looking at certain pictures, particularly Wells's films, and William Wyler too, a wide-angle lens. The Wyler used his wide-angle lens in a very strong, steady image. But Wells used that wide-angle lens, 18 millimeter, it turns out, very often, to move along the walls, and you really I felt as if the camera was flying, as if the story was flying by, you know. I didn't know why until I kept seeing the films again and again, and as I began to know a little more about what filmmaking was like and what cameras did, and I still didn't know who made the pictures, you know, but I was beginning to understand that there are certain tools you use, and those tools become part of a vocabulary that's just as valid as that vocabulary that is used in literature, in our language.
I think in this clip, Martin already did a great job of explaining what visual literacy is, but if not, I'm just gonna do a quick run through of my take on what he's saying here. Visual literacy is the ability to watch something and read what the camera is trying to spell out for you. The best way to understand this is to read more, aka watch more movies, and the better of a vocabulary you get with visual literacy, the better you'll get at being able to curate your own stories. And I think this is a super important lesson. I've taken basically my own advice here, and I watch a documentary a day, or I try to. Maybe it's a 15-minute mini documentary on YouTube, maybe it's a full series on Netflix that I watch over the course of a couple of days, but I probably average around 3 to 4 full documentaries a week in the content I consume. So that gives me an idea of how to shoot things better. It makes me quicker at being able to come up with how to produce a piece of content or a story, and it just makes you better when you're actually out there shooting, because you have a better visual vocabulary, if that makes any sense. So I would say the best way to create this skill for yourself, again, watch something every day if you can. If not, do your best. The best equipped person, the most knowledgeable person on set is the one who's watched the most movies, and that's just kind of a universal fact at this point. Like I said, I'm doing this myself. I'm trying to apply this to my own movies, and that's basically why I started Enthusi Productions. I want to tell the best stories. I'm enthusiastic about telling stories and helping other people tell theirs. So the best way I can get better at that as a skill is to simply watch more and consume more and take notes and be engaged, and then I can take it to my own projects that I'm working on. Sorry if you guys can hear my dog in the background there. I'm gonna end this video here. If you wanna join the community, Make sure you subscribe and like the video because that'll really help us with the algorithm. And if you want to, share this video with somebody else who you think might be interested or might get something out of it, because we're working hard here and we want to make this community as big and bad as we can possibly make it. I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. It's a pleasure having you. Peace.